This week, My Hero dropped one of its best chapters, not just in this arc, but in the whole series, and for once, this is an opinion that it seems the majority of readers can agree with, even some of the professional haters in the TCB comment section acquired this week. Anyway, the chapter begins where the prior one left off, Aoyama bringing Izuku to his feet and setting him off on his final run. Only, they didn't get far as the first panel shows Aoyama getting held back by All For One's tendrils, shouting for Midoriya to keep running. The fact that it is the UA traitor to set Izuku on his final path is so heartwarming and a teller of what's to come this chapter. We see Eraser shouting for Shirakumo, likely to create more portals, but the teleporter starts to deteriorate, his body's form losing shape. Izuku continues on though, pushing through the chaos as heroes such as Manga and Snipe launch attack after attack on All For One. Interestingly, Kami points out, unlike All For One, he's like super strong against my illusions. Aizawa then cuts through the comms, I need all of you to open a path that takes us to Shigaraki. As this call is made, we see the villain's body shift into a scorpion-like mass, charging a ball of energy at its tail before firing it at Izuku. Jumping in the way, Hagakure catches it, warping it away using her special move to the fullest. Then, to Izuku's left, Momo's constructed a fucking railgun, with Kaminari charging it up before firing it All For One. It's blocked and he retaliates with a flurry of spikes that Deku charges up to punch. Before he can waste his energy though, his fellow students including Sato, Ojiro, Sero, Koda and a number of Class B heroes get in the way. They send him on his way, declaring that they'll block attacks for him so that he can land a hit. Then, just like the new opening, Tsuyu and Shoji grab Midoriya and propel him forward, both of their respective friends and families cheering them on from the evacuation shelter. They get him a considerable way, but a massive tentacle is about to flatten Izuku, just before an exhausted Fat Gum, Mina and Kirishima block it, and with their old schoolmates looking on, they shout, "Do your best and we'll do ours," as Izuku gets himself back up, using whatever remnants of One For All he can muster, shouting his thanks. We then hear the thoughts inside of All For One's head. Why? Why won't these soon-to-be corpses just die already? They can barely move but their eyes, those pesky eyes. As we see Jiro and Mineta doing their best to stay in the fight. He thinks back to his interaction in the Vestige Realm. He finds himself immobilized, squirming about helplessly watching on. Conferring this power to someone so worthless was a mistake. He thinks to himself, now I get it Midoriya, Izuku Midoriya. As he watches Izuku carry on running, he thinks to himself, Midoriya, your weakness is something. We see Gentle and Death Arms both shout for him to do his best, that All Might lacked. Tokoyami, heavily injured next to Hawks, do your best. This strength that emerges from your weakness. Izuku stumbles but Ida's hand pulls him back up, is what makes all of them get back up again and again. As long as you keep moving, they will. All For One looks shocked as his hand starts bleeding. We then cut to the Star and Stripe bros with All Might. The pilots say, I thought our jets didn't have ejection seats. You're the one behind this, right, All Might? The kids want a perfect victory. The fewer the losses, the better. Toshinori raises a battered hand to the sky. Young Midoriya, that day you rushed out and allowed my body to move. And since then, you've always been. We don't hear the rest as we cut to Melissa, Rhodey, and the kids from Movie 2 cheering Izuku on too. Do your best. In one last push from Ida, he says, remember our first day at the UA gate? Referring to one of the very first chapters of the series. Now, I think I understand what she meant by that. We see Uraraka in an evac helicopter with one of the pussycats. Her situation is dire following her injuries, but she recalls her words from that day. But Deku, well, it just screams to do your best. I kinda like it. With tears welling up in her eyes, she too, do your best. Izuku uses his legs to propel himself up, shattering the ground beneath him as we cut to the White House. It's the US president. Send all of our heroes to Japan now. But sir, if All For One wins, then our country will be, I don't care, do it now. I can hear everyone's voices. We then see everyone. Tsukauchi, All Might Shirt Guy, Tiger, Don't You See Kid, Kota, the J. Jonah Jameson of MHA, the New Gen Kids, Gran Torino, Eri, the ladies at the Philippines Cafe, some more evacuees, and the last person All Might saved. As All Might raises his fist, he finishes what he was thinking earlier. On that day, you became the greatest hero to me. And then, running to the front to cheer her son on, Inko is the last to shout do your best as Izuku lands a clean hit right into All For One's chest. Izuku Midoriya rising. End of chapter. A quick preface, the official Twitter account for MHA labelled this the super climax of the final battle, so there definitely isn't much left of the series. which is really a shame when it can bring moments like this to our screens in the page. This chapter perfectly summarizes Deku's story, including so many moments from his past and the effects he's had on people, tying them into the present in one intense final push against the final villain of the series. The fact that the "Do Your Best" tagline is so deep-rooted in his character because of Bakugo and Uraraka also helps those final cheers of goodwillfulness hammer home a double layer of meaning. As well as that, it was enough to make the US president call for action, with the heroes sent over potentially aiding in the cleanup process, as this battle won't be going on for much longer and the average flight time from the US to Japan is 11 to 8 hours. This is definitely going to be a Yusei Run or Might You moment in the anime, and I cannot wait to see it animated in Season 8. Let me know if you want to see more MHA coverage going forward, and I'll see you all soon.